Latinos for Trump. ¿Por qué?
Porque he's the one that's going to save America. He's the American dream. And when you come to America, you play by the rules. No, you do the right thing. You can win.
And where'd you come from?
I was born in Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil?
Yeah.
Is there anything that Trump could do to lose your vote?
Nothing right now.
Nothing at all.
He's the one.
Press conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans denounced the Trump administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed. Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
How's it going, officer?
Registration, please.
Oh yeah, of course, officer. Here, yeah, my name is John. Here, I'm American.
Let me see.
I voted for Donald Trump.
Where are you coming from?
I was just working. You know what? I was working in these apartment complexes. There's a lot of immigrants.
Be quiet. You look very illegal too.
Sir, I voted for Donald Trump. My name is John Rivers.
Your name is not John Rivers.
Sir, that's John Rivers.
That's Juan Rios.
Yeah, but Juan Rios is my Mexican name.
You're gonna have to get out the car.
Sir, I'm American.
You're gonna have to get out the car.
I voted for Donald Trump. Are you kidding me? This is unfair.
Latinos for Trump, it is time to embrace the consequences of your actions. I've always been a firm believer of fighting fire with fire. If somebody goes low, I'll go lower. Now, with that being said, I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members, whether that be their parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, etc. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members. It's time that these Latinos for Trump get a taste of their own medicine and a taste of poetic justice. Now, I know what you may be thinking, Angel, this is extreme, and I agree. But extreme problems call for extreme solutions. And unfortunately, many innocent people are going to be affected by this, but you can't be that innocent if you raised a Latino for Trump. And before all of the Latinos for Trump come at me all angry, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You should be happy. Let me see that smile. But there you have it, guys. Once again, there is that number. You know what to do. It's time that these Latinos for Trump learn the hard way. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
Here's a fact that's bringing me so much joy right now. So my father's Cuban. My mom's Mexican. Her mom came to this country not necessarily legally. She voted, though, for Donald Trump. A lot of my extended family on my mom's side voted for Donald Trump. So here's the deal. If I'm getting deported, guess what? You're coming with me. It's what you wanted. We're going to drain the swamp together. We're going to give you exactly what you voted for. When the ICE officials come for me, guess who's getting ratted out? Congratulations, and I can't wait for the family reunion in Tijuana. Mi gente, mwah, love your faces. See ya.
Latinos who voted for Trump are finally seeing the truth. They thought Trump was their guy, and now they are watching their friends, their parents, and even themselves get deported. Jobs are disappearing, and life is getting harder. Now they are crying. But guess what? They did this to themselves. I'll put together a bunch of videos, let's watch them, and then I will come back and give you more commentaries. Make sure you like the video and also drop your opinions down there in the comment section.
Well, y'all, I was just speaking to a Latino for Trump voter that lives here where I live. And, of course, we didn't know each other. We were talking about trucks and redoing trucks because, y'all know I've been for a long time. I need my truck repainted because I'm losing clear coat and the rock chips and stuff are starting to rust. But, I live on a budget. But anyhow, as me and the Latino for Trump voter was talking, we found out we're somewhat on opposing sides here. And I was telling him about how they were racially profiling at the bus stop by HEB because he was like, oh, they're not detaining innocent people. They're not detaining innocent migrants and immigrants and stuff. It's because they're illegal. They're illegal, Lisa. And I said, no, they're not. Many hold green cards. Many came here legally, and waiting for their paperwork to be finished out and whatever and stuff. I said, they are arresting and detaining innocent people. I have witnessed them racially profiling people at this bus stop. Anyway, I started showing him article after article after article after article of American citizens that are being detained, like Latinos for Trump. This particular article I showed him was talking about a man who just went in to get a pizza. He was getting a pizza and came out and he was detained. Then there was another one that was detained. He just came home from getting tamales and stuff. Anyhow, this article here is the one of many that I showed him, where this U.S. citizen was arrested and handcuffed and spent most of the night at an ICE processing center. And he was the one who was out simply buying a pizza, and they came up on him, threw him in the white van, took his wallet away from him, which showed his driver's license, his social security card stuff, but they did not care. And if you read further in the article, down here is the gentleman that simply came home from getting tamales. Now, our conversation after that article ended abruptly with him saying, I've got to go inside now and I need to speak to my wife. And I hope he has a great conversation with his wife, because, you know, there could be some Karen bitch out there or some MAGA Mike out there that will turn on him and call ICE. And I just showed him how easily it was to be detained, and he needs to be worried about that. They don't give two shit that he's a Latino who voted for T-Rump.
I would be lying. I think a lot of us Latinos would be lying if we said that there wasn't anti-blackness in our communities, because there is. There is this deeply rooted anti-blackness that I think has gotten better in recent years, but it certainly exists. And as someone whose brother-in-law is black, whose nephews are Mexican-American black, I can't tell you how angry and frustrated I am, and honestly just disappointed by the atrocities that I keep seeing today when it comes to anti-blackness in Latino communities. And I can speak to specifically in Mexican communities. And just really quickly before I go to answer your question, what I find really sad is that when you look at history, the Latino community and the black community have always helped each other out. You look at the abolition of slavery in Mexico, which happened only 8 years after Mexico gained its independence from Spain. And they were bringing slaves from the U.S. through Texas into Mexico to grant them freedom. And this was particularly done because of President Vicente Guerrero, I believe. He was Afro-Latino, which, by the way, was one of the earlier presidents in Mexico. So how can we even forget that an Afro-Latino man was one of the earlier presidents of Mexico? You look at the Chicano movements of the 1960s and the 1970s. You had Black Panthers and Chicano activists coming together to fight for universal justice for their communities. You look at something as early as the Black Lives Matter movement, which I was in Arizona for. And let me tell you, I went marching and it was packed. And about 85 to 90%, I can confidently say, were Latinos. And they were hand in hand with their black sisters and brothers. I tell you, it was beautiful. I mean, I'm getting literally chills. It just reminded me in that moment how we've been robbed, how our communities have been robbed from togetherness because we've been othered, not only by ourselves, but mainly by white supremacists. The devil works hard, but the white man works harder. And I say that because I think historically we've seen an implementation of divisive tactics rooted in fear against Latinos and the black community to create a division. To answer this question, it's very multifaceted and it's very complex. Things like assimilation pressures that a lot of Latinos fall into, white supremacy, which Latinos can be a part of as well, don't lie, structural racism, I think they all play a part. But one of the things that I feel has really been the rooted problem in all of this is colonialism. I don't think a lot of people realize the effects of colonialism far after it ends. And I think Mexico is a prime example because when the Spanish colonized modern day Mexico in the 1500s and were there for 300 plus years, they created a caste system that literally judged people based on skin color. And that caste system didn't end when Mexico gained its independence. It didn't just go away. It then filtered through society, and it is very alive and well today. I mean, kind of a side note, but when you look at media representation in Mexico, it's very rarely people that look like me. It's people who are more Aryan looking, who are more white passing, that essentially get those leading roles that are in big TV shows. So that breathes within Mexico, and it certainly breathes within its people, and is brought over by US Latinos here who believe in that caste, who inadvertently judge from a place of colorism, and whether subconscious or not, this is ingrained in their worldview. So of course, it's something that they don't even think of unless you put yourself out of it, which is what a lot of us have done, right? You decenter yourself and take a step back and become aware of what is happening, of the colorism, of the long-term ramifications of this caste system, then you allow space and opportunity to break away from that structural racism that we all inherently are a part of. And it's happening, even though it's slow, it is happening. People are changing. I've seen it with my own family. I've seen it in other communities where we are decentering colorism and anti-Blackness from the foundation of how we look at the world because of our colonial past. So listen, I know that's not probably the best answer you want, but I do think that it is changing. And I do think that this is where it's more important than ever for us to come together and realize this so that we can be a unit, that we can help each other out instead of being more divided, because that's exactly why we're here today. Will there always be Latinos who are anti-Black? Absolutely. And unfortunately, they are always the loudest. They are the ones who are getting on interviews, on TV, and then it creates and pushes that narrative that we're talking about, that Latinos are all anti-Black. But I can assure you that there are a lot of us out there who are not. I can confidently tell you that. And it is a slow growth, but it is a growth nonetheless.
We have breaking news right now. ICE deported a Venezuelan soccer star who tried to claim asylum legally in the United States simply based on his tattoos. Jersey Reyes Barrios was a soccer star in Venezuela. He was tortured by the Maduro regime. He fled to the United States as an undocumented immigrant, began the process of legally obtaining asylum, and was waiting for his final court hearing on April 17th, according to his attorney's affidavit. And yet, just days ago, he was rounded up by ICE agents and flown to a prison in El Salvador, a country he is not from. Here's the issue. Reyes Barrios has no criminal history. He was going through the asylum process legally, and ICE based its decision to detain and deport him on his tattoos, which is nothing more than a Real Madrid logo, along with a picture from his social media where he is throwing up horns. Nothing else. No due process. Deported. I just did a full breakdown on my Substack. Be sure to subscribe for free at the link in my bio. Spread the word and follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
Some Latinos believed Trump would help them. They said he's a good businessman. He only wants to deport illegal immigrants, not us. Well, they were wrong. Trump doesn't like immigrants. He made life harder for Venezuelans and Cubans by ending their TPS, temporary protected status. That means many who thought they were safe are now at risk of being kicked out. And guess what? Some of those who are being kicked out, those who are being deported, voted for him. They thought Trump would protect them because they did things the right way. But Trump doesn't care. To him, if you are not a white, you are a problem. And now a lot of them are learning the hard way. Let's talk about how some Latinos try so hard to be the part of white America. They call themselves Spanish instead of Latino. They check white on the census. They act like they're different from other immigrants. But guess what? When Trump policies hit hard, nobody asked if they were white Latinos. They just got treated like other brown immigrants. MAGA lied to them, and now they are paying the price. They wanted to be in the good immigrant group, but Trump doesn't have groups. To him, you are either white or you are a problem. Now they are finding out the hard way. To be honest, I don't feel bad for these Latinos. They cheered when Trump was deporting others. They thought it was fun when ICE broke up other families. But now it's happening to them, and they want sympathy. Who can sympathize with people who voted against their own interest? I will just tell you Latinos, if you're watching right now, welcome to FAFO season. Yes, you effed around and now this is your time to find out. Maybe next time Latinos will think before voting for the man who called themselves criminals and rapists from the beginning. You know, Trump had been saying this during his campaigns. He's been calling them those bad names I mentioned above. But who knows? Maybe in the few years they will forget and try to be white again. Let's see how that works out for them. Guys, I did physics, and in physics we say that it's a Newton's third law of motion, which says that every action has its equal and opposite reaction force. And I will put this in our daily life. Every action has consequences. Whatever you're doing, you have to sit down and expect some consequences from your action. And this is what's happening to the Latinos. They voted for the man, now they are getting the treatment they deserve, because now they are facing the consequences of their actions. And this should be a lesson to everybody out there. Whenever doing something bad, don't just think that the universe will let you go like that. No, There is something that is called karma, and this karma will bring you the consequences of your actions. Latinos, next time, please don't be selfish, thinking that what you are voting for will only affect others except you. So what do you all think? Have they finally learned a lesson? Or will they go back to voting for the same people who don't care about them? Let me know down there in the comment section. And remember that history keeps repeating itself, and some people never learn. See you all in the next one.